Alright, ready? You're the white, you're shiny in the, behind you.
Shiny. Alright, it's Mrs. Dancho and Mr. Tablecloth
Mr.
here.
Strimmel, not a
Like a
tablecloth.
tablecloth.
Listen, I got this out of the back of my closet. I needed something fresh today. This is the best I can do.
Buffalo
alright?
plaid.
But I'm clean and I smell good, so that's all that matters.
Do you really?
I mean, maybe. Alright, so Miss Dancho, what are we doing today?
Fractions.
Fractions.
Yes.
Finally, something new, right?
Yes.
Get away from some multiplication, division, problem solving, and talk about some fractions. So, guys, I don't know how much you know about fractions or what you remember about fractions, but a fraction is a number that is often less than a whole, and it represents part of a number. So we divide a fraction. I'm going to write a fraction here on my board, and then Mrs. Dancher will tell you a little bit about it. See, oh no.
Remember, it's not backwards. It's not going to be backwards. It's not.
So this fraction is 1/3. Okay, so Mrs. Dancher, why don't you tell us a little bit about 1/3?
We have some vocabulary here that we need to talk about. First of all, the number on the top
This guy?
is the number called the numerator.
Numerator. Can everybody say numerator? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Great job.
All right, good job.
The number on the bottom we call the denominator. The way I remember
Denominator?
it, guess what, Mr. Strummel? This is
What?
fancy. It's down on the
Oh.
bottom, like the denominator. DD, get it?
Get it? Great.
Okay.
Great.
So the top.
Can everybody
number-
say denominator? 1, 2, 3.
Mm,
No, it wasn't very loud.
Look
but
aloud,
okay,
look aloud.
whatever.
Top number is numerator, bottom number is denominator. So those
Yeah.
are two important terms you're going to need to know about.
Big time.
Fractions.
Big time.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what the numerator is and what the denominator is. And to do that, I'm going to get 3 counters out, because if you look first, what we're always going to look at first is our denominators, because that's going to help us when we compare fractions, when we look for equivalent fractions and all that good stuff. And the denominator tells us how many total pieces there are. So in this case, I'm going to sit 3 yellow counters right here that you can see kind of on my table, and that 3
So this
is going
3
to
represents this 3.
yeah, it
because
represents
it's your whole number.
it represents all the pieces.
Okay, so it's like if you had a pie and it was cut in 3 pieces, this would be the 3.
This would be the 3. Or a
Okay.
pie cut into 8, I would turn my denominator into an 8.
So I know what the top means.
it represents the whole. What do you think the top means?
I think the top means that this piece right here is
Yep.
one piece of those 3.
Right.
So it's
So
like a
if-
part of it.
It's part of it. So if we
Yeah.
could take it and flip it over and make
Yeah.
it red,
Okay.
we can now see that 1 piece is red out of 3 pieces total. A common mistake when a lot of kids look at this picture, they tend to write this.
2/3.
You know, yeah, I was going to say that, or they write this. And let me tell you what's wrong with this. What they like to do is they like to write 1/2, which we would call a half, because they would say, hey, 1 is red and 2 are yellow. But that's not the case. We always keep this denominator the total number of pieces, which is why 1/3 would be the fraction you would want here. So, Ms. Dancho, I
Yeah.
got an idea. Why don't I take, not
What
a ton,
I?
not a lot.
I.
We don't need a ton
Okay,
here.
me. I wanna do it.
Alright,
You do
alright.
everything.
No, I'm
Just kidding. He
trying
doesn't do
to
anything.
team up. Yeah, almost.
Ready?
There you go.
I'm going to throw
So
these.
you're going to throw them on the table. Try to keep them right here where we can see them. Okay? So let's turn them up. So, Mrs. Dancher,
Yeah.
based off what we've learned so far, where would you start
Well,
as a student? Do we
first
want
of
to
all,
count?
I'd like you to count me there are total.
Yeah, always look for the
Alright.
denominator, the total
So
first.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're going to put 8 down
Okay,
on the
so our
bottom.
denominator is an 8.
And
Got
then you
it.
draw your fraction bar.
Yep,
It's called a fraction bar.
yep.
And I'm asking you how many are red.
How many are red? Okay.
So if I'm looking, I see 1, 2, 3 that are red. So I think you should put 3 on the top because that represents the red pieces.
Okay.
So I would say 3 out of 8 pieces
Which, how do we say 3 out of 8?
are red. 3/8.
3/8, right?
Yeah.
You put that THS on the end, like 2/4, 3/5.
Try not to spit everywhere. when
Yeah,
you do
don't
it.
say 3/5s or 3/8.
not cool.
Not how you properly read a fraction.
Nope.
So to close out here again, this is your numerator. This is the number of pieces you're looking for, and this is your denominator, and this is the whole thing. How many pieces there are total?
How
Anything else?
many black boxes do you think you have
Well,
on
we
your
could
shirt?
make it into an array.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks.